Hello, my dear Cancer. This is a love reading, a prediction for Leo season, July 22nd to August 22nd, 2020, with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. And this will be a love reading for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising Sign, and Venus, Vedic or Tropical. The reading can go both ways. The drama is the same, but it can be different castings to the different roles by the universe. So, when I tell you that this is you on this side, it might as well be the person or the situation you are dealing with. Use your own intuition and recognition to determine who is who in this reading for you. And if you need more information or help after you have listened to this reading, you can turn to the love readings for Cancer season that is up. We are in the first period of your season, Cancer, when I'm posting this. So, happy birthday once more. Or you can check out the pick a card and near personal readings on the first page of my channel. Click the headline of each playlist to see all the videos that the playlist contains. And I'll start shuffling your cards, and I use the Golden Universal Tarot with Roberto De Angelis. So, when I open your deck here, I see 9 of Cups in reverse with the 4 of Swords in the reversed. So it might be something that you are overwhelmed with, or the person you are dealing with are overwhelmed with. Something that was too good to be true, or something that wasn't as good as you thought. And with the 4 of Swords in the reverse, there's a restlessness to this. It's some kind of unsettled emotion. So, if you're dealing with a person that seems hard to understand, it might be that they're going through something emotionally here that is kind of throwing them off their game a little bit. Because the 9 of Cups is usually a person being very content. But with this in the reverse, I'm getting a very restless feeling, like almost I want to crawl out of my body kind of feeling. Okay, so I call the divine with love and light. And here we have also the 4 of Wands in the reverse with the 4 of Swords. So it seems like someone, due to them feeling, what is it that I'm feeling here? With the 9 of Cups also in the reverse and the 4 of Wands in the reversed. I'm feeling I'm rejecting something. Due to it, it's like I'm presented with something that I should want, but I don't want it. Okay, so that's what I'm feeling. And with the 4 of Wands in the reverse, it's maybe you are presented with a relationship, or you are presented a relationship offer, or there is a relationship between you and another person, but one person in this equation is rejecting it. Due to this feeling that, well, yes, I should want it, but I don't want it. So that is what I'm feeling. I don't want it. So it may be a little bit a spoiled energy here, or it feels a little bit spoiled. Or maybe sometimes we believe we will get chance after chance after chance, and eventually we will end up in this the best of best situations. But in the same time, we know that that's not true, and we're trying to be content with something that's being presented, but it's not really what we want. Okay, so I forgot where I were, but I call the 6 elements, and here we have the Tower together with the 4 of Swords in the reversed. So I'm thinking maybe, Cancer, someone has rejected you in some way. And this person feels very strongly, not feel strongly about it, but feel kind of elevated about it. Like they are on safe ground, and that this is not going to have consequences for them. But here, I'm seeing something else. I'm seeing this restlessness again. We have 4 of Swords, 4 of Wands. It's a masculine energy. So it might be that the divine masculine in this case, either it's in a male or a female. It's just a person that's kind of putting them, maybe at this point in time, the divine masculine is putting themselves on high ground and trying to take care of themselves and put themselves in a safe position so they will not be vulnerable. And here it's exposed, not a vulnerability, but maybe some kind of force. The universe is involved, or the divine is involved with the Major Arcana Tower card here. So something is happening in this a person's life, or in your life, if this is you, that is making them also have to deal with the consequences. And this is kind of unfair. If you feel like I'm not into this relationship, or I don't want to continue this job, and then you kind of reject it because you want something better for yourself, and then you are being thrown into the consequences of that rejection. It seems a little bit strange, but I'm thinking we are always being tested by the divine in different shapes and forms, and we are sometimes being presented with, the best of situation. You can get this job, but you just feel you don't want it. Or you can get this partner, but you feel, I don't want it. I don't want this partner. And then you say no to them. And then you see the other person that got that job, they are really happy, or they had a lot of success. Or that person that you rejected had a lot of success. And you will feel like, why can't I really have that? Or why did I say no to it? And I think that's the kind of question mark and the key. And it's not that you should, take something that's offered just because it sounds good. It's something deeper. And I don't know the answer as of now. Okay, so 6 elements: earth, wind, fire, water, spirit, and ether, to join us here today and to give us a clear view reading. And it's the 6 of coins. So it's about here. This is not entirely isolated, but I want you to see it, this card, in a little bit in isolation from what I've told you up till now. And it's sometimes you are with people that's very nice to you, like your maybe your friends. You have certain friends, or certain people around you, children, spouses, whatever. They are always nice. So it's always very easy to deal with these people. More often than not, it's very easy. And sometimes we can take people like this for granted. And so I'm just thinking that it's pointing to you, maybe valuing a little bit more what you have, or that there's a person in this equation that needs to value a little bit more than what they have. And I don't mean that they should value this thing that they reject, which they don't want, but it's something here about valuing what's right in front of your nose. That loyal pet that you have that's always there, or that friend that always call and check in on you, and we can feel, oh, are they calling again, or does this dog want to take another walk now? So I'm thinking it's about gratefulness in our everyday life, and seeing what's right in front of your nose and taking better care of that. So this thing that came in or comes in now and then, and you reject it because it doesn't feel right, that's kind of one thing, but it's showing you the mirror of the other things in your life that you are taking for granted, which you shouldn't. Okay, that you're rejecting really good things maybe in your life, or that this person that you're dealing with are rejecting really good things in their life that's right in front of them. So I'm thinking this reading up till now has been about gratefulness, that be more grateful for the things that's actually in your life. It's first when they are gone, or when I'm hearing a song, so that's why I'm stuttering. It's from a movie, I think. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. You're gonna miss me. So, I'm thinking, kind of imagine yourself that things would be kind of ripped away from you. We saw the tower there. And with the 4 of Swords in the reverse, then first we have been very cool and maybe, taken people for granted and things for granted, and other things, different things in our lives, we are taking them for granted. And then it's ripped from us with the tower. And then with the 4 of Swords, it's now we are, instead of being very like full or almost overwhelmed, or I need vacation from these people that's calling every time I'm like in the cashier in the store, that's when this person is calling. But then one day they are gone, and that's when we realize we should have been maybe more grateful. So this is, I'm thinking what this reading is about. It's about gratefulness for the things that you have, and that this is not so that you will appreciate other people more. It's just not that about sending love to other people. It's also what you can get. That the more grateful you are for what you already have, the more things you will be able to have, because the more things, it's almost like you will deserve more things when you're grateful for the things you already have. So you might be dealing with a person that is acting very ungrateful, and you want to know what is going on with this person, what's their issue, why are they doing me like this? And it might be that they are just not grateful. They're taking things for granted. But remember always then, what you have this in your life, you're seeing someone is taking you for granted. It's also very common that this is a mirror, okay? So it might be that also you are taking things for granted. So take a really good look into your life. When that difficult person calls, maybe you are very high in your energy and happy and giving them all. And when that nice person calls, you might yawn and be a little bit uninterested, starting to think about what you should shop later today, making a grocery list, not being fully there, not being fully attentive. So just look into your life at this point and see what you are truly would miss if it was gone. Okay, so I'm just going to tune in here for a few seconds to you and your situation in Leo season, Cancer. Okay, so this is the new bottom of the deck, and it's the Five of Cups in the reversed. So here we have a person, probably you, Cancer, that is picking up the pieces of yourself and doing kind of a good job with it. If it came like this, you will still be in great disappointment, but when it's like this, you're starting to come out of it. You're starting to work through it and kind of accept whatever loss has been here. And remember that there's 2 cups still standing. So remember to be grateful for the things that's still in your life, that haven't been ripped away. Sometimes we can be so focused what has been taken away from us that we don't see what's still there. We can see this a lot. For example, when people lose their spouses, they kind of forget about their children. You can have losses of different kinds. When someone broke up with you, you might kind of take your friends a little bit for granted, or even when they are in the relationship, you were taking them for granted, but they're still here. So they are still there for you. So remember to put the attention to what it is that you want instead of the things that you don't want. Don't put attention to the things that is broken and needs to be fixed and needs to, to all your energy and drying you out, and turn to the situations in your life that's actually working and that's smooth and nice. And I'm not saying that we should not overcome our problems in work life, everyday life, relationships, but sometimes we obsess a lot about the problems and we end up creating more problems for ourselves, being so preoccupied with this problem instead of seeing the great things in life and what they are doing for you and what kind of value they are actually adding, and being grateful for that, because gratefulness is a frequency that's very high. You're vibrating on a very high level when you are grateful, when you feel like, oh, I'm really grateful for this, what I have. So it's not about you paying back your debt to society or to God by being grateful. It's you putting yourself on a very high frequency level where you can actually become really, really happy instead of being higher down in the gutter, digging for the reasons to why you were treated in this way. Okay, so this is the old bottom of the deck, and it's the 5 of Swords, so another 5. So sometimes we or someone else, it seems like you are in this dynamic, Cancer, where someone might have, been really elevated, like they felt very elevated, like they wouldn't be touched by the situation, so they could act very casual with the situation and maybe throw you away, and act like you didn't matter, or that they didn't care because they weren't grateful for having you in their life, or you weren't grateful. So these people here, when they called you, you didn't have time to answer the phone or whatever went on, or you had a person here that kind of acted nasty towards you and didn't care about the consequences. But there are consequences to this, not only for these people, but also for this person. They are lowering their own frequency and drawing in more of this nasty business and this feeling of ungratefulness and not having enough and not being enough when we are acting like this. Okay. So I need to remember how this is supposed to be. So, okay. So here are what's on your mind about the person most on your mind. And this is the situation in that relationship. And this is what's on their mind about you. And this is your feelings towards them. And this is the bond between you. It can be energetic bond of anger, or it can be love. It can be different things. And here is there on what's on their emotional level towards you. This is your behaviors and attitudes. The outcome for Leo season. And so not forever, but for Leo season. And this is their behaviors and attitudes. So we start with a situation here. And we have a 4 of coins. So this is someone maybe feeling a little bit overwhelmed, okay, by life in general. We have had a lot of 4 now, 4 of swords, 4 of wands, and now 4 of coins here. And so this person might be having a little bit trouble to letting other people into their life, or letting new things into their life, and letting go of old things. Might also want to win arguments and can't give of themselves, can't be the bigger person and say, okay, it's my turn to call now, or they can't be the bigger person and say, I'm sorry, I was to blame. So it's like an energy of wanting to be elevated and never have to dip their toes in the the ground of common people where they are suffering. So this person wants to be very controlled and not have problems in their lives. So they're trying to stay in their comfort zone, also trying to stay elevated a little bit, like on their high horse or their high throne. But we can see that there's a lot of tension in this person's life, and everything. Hearing another song that also came through for another sign, and it's Bruce Springsteen and A Human Touch, but it's not, I don't think, maybe it's the story as well, but I'm hearing this line, I'm trying to pick it up. So everything you don't surrender, the world just strips away. And we can see that this person doesn't want to surrender anything. So they want to have like the best piece of the cookie. They want to have the elevated state in a relationship, not being the one loving too much or giving too much. They always want to come out on top, and they have a lot of things that they would never want to give up. And if we don't want to give up things or maybe compromise with another person, we might end up with losing that person because we weren't grateful enough to know their value and how much we should have compromised to keep them in our lives. And this is creating consequences also for this person that's sitting here. They are going to, the things you don't surrender, the world is just going to strip it away. And we saw the tower, and the tower is typical, like a remedy for these kind of situations where a person thinks like, I need to have these things settled for myself because I'm such an important person. I am the provider, for example, so I can't I can't help you with that because I'm so exhausted after my work and I need to rejuvenate myself with happy things, so I don't have time to help you out with everyday chores. That it's just an example. And when this person is elevating themselves and making themselves a little bit special, they're making other people not so special, and they are able to take them for granted. And the things you don't surrender, the world just strips away. So when you don't also understand that everything will be taken away from you sooner or later, you are not grateful. So, long lecture. And I don't know who's having this energy. And as I said, usually it's someone that's kind of have it almost like it's blown out of proportion. So someone is being ridiculously selfish, okay, in a situation. But it just to show both people in this equation, this, that is blown out of proportion, to show both people that something like this is going on. And it's not always that you are, you're giving all your energy to one person or 5 people and taking the other 5 for granted. It might be that you're taking yourself for granted, that you're not grateful for yourself and not taking good enough care of yourself. So you can have this kind of energy in your life as a pointer to you should take at least half of how great this person is taking care of themselves. This is how great you should take care of yourself. And remember, that should always be balance. Always balance. Don't stay in an extreme. Like I never take care of myself. I always give to other people. Or I always take care of myself and then I maybe give something to other people. We'll see. So try to find the balance in the middle, because the middle is equilibrium. Okay, that's harmony. Tranquillium. So this is what's on your mind, about the person most on your mind. And it seems like you're basically, you're judging them. And you might judge them either in the wrong way, or you're judging them because they are like this. So it's very complex reading this time, because it almost feels like you're a Gemini. I need to read for 2 energies at the same time. But so one thing I'm feeling is that you are looking at this person that is kind of having their back towards you, and you're seeing that they are doing something it's a kind of self-destructive. This, to be like this, it's self-destructive. Everyone that looks on that situation from the outside will know that they are making their own life shitty by taking good things for granted and kind of mourning things that's gone, because this person stays in the past a lot as well, can't let things go, they're a little bit anal. So it might be here that you're judging this person and saying this is not going to go well. They're not doing the thing that, we signed up for before we came down here. This person was supposed to see this and become grateful and loosen up and become, come into the flow and, both give and take in this equation of our lives. So you're judging them. But it might also be that you are on this end where you have a little bit poor judgment, so you don't know how to choose. It's a 2, so it's usually a matter of choice or a matter of judgment, or 2 things coming together. And it might be that you have a hard time to see things from an elevated perspective, that you look at this from your frog perspective and seeing... You can't see what's valuable in your life, what's really valuable, the things that you would miss if they were gone. What would that be? So you can't see it from this perspective. So try to, since this is a general reading, try to understand who's who in this equation, okay? And remember the mirroring effect. So you might have a little of it, but it's really the most the blown out of proportion kind of energies with the other person. But it's just so you can see it in yourself, either that you have this issue yourself, but maybe in other relationships, or that you have the opposite issue, that you always know what a person is worth. And so you're doing the best you can for them, always, always, always breaking your back for these people, and they always take you for granted. Okay, that's not a nice feeling. So here we have the other person, what they are thinking about you. And interestingly enough, it's another 2. We have 20, 2 plus 0, 2. And this is the High Priestess 2. They seem to think that you are sitting kind of on your high throne in self-respect and self-honor. So it might be that you have judged this person as they are taking me for granted, and this person has noted that, okay, so they felt taken for granted, because the high priestess is a person of utter self-respect. It's a high value person. They don't compromise themselves to make other people love them, but they're also very fair because they're connected to the judgment and to the justice card. So they kind of are in divine connection and instinctively, intuitively knowing what's the right thing to do. Usually this person, this kind of personality has lived a lot of lifetimes and have real ancient knowledge, real ancient wisdom. So they have lived so many lives. So again and again, from every different angle, every different perspective. And they have seen life from every different perspective, being the posh one, you know, the one that doesn't want to yield, doesn't want to give up, being the one losing it all and feeling the consequences of having lost it all, and that you just want the things back. Please give them back. And so you have an energy like this, have been there and seen everything and have kind of gained a lot of wisdom. This Torah here, the book of wisdom. Torah Rota Taro. So it's a word game that's talking about this wheel of wisdom, how we are learning through this karmic wheel. So this person has been through everything and know everything and have a very good judgment. So I think in the most common interpretations of this reading for most of you, it will be that you have rejected a person, or you have seen through a person and their behavior, that they are taking you for granted, and you have put yourself on this high ground. Maybe before you gave everything and then you decided not to because the person wasn't worth it. You saw with your own judgment that something is off with this situation. There's not a balance, that's not equilibrium, because this is also about the twos. We have the justice card. It's all about balance, the scales, you know, and these two pillars, and the two in general, it's a very balanced, these two ones in Roman numbers. So when they're thinking about you, they probably think this person is right, but I can't help doing the wrong thing anyway. So I know this person is right because they have this wisdom. They can feel you having this ancient wisdom. And with the two of these two high priestess, you might have made yourself scarce for them, because she is covering up this kind of a fabric here, usually hanging behind both the high priestess and also in the justice card. It's kind of a veil covering something. So if you would say that this is the entrance, you need to go through this, almost this shamanistic witch judge before you can enter a person's life. So they won't reveal their paradise behind here, what they can give you. They won't let you into this paradise before you have shown yourself worthy. So I'm getting the feeling that this person feels like in your eyes they are not worthy because of their personality that they are presenting, like they are a little bit ungrateful people that takes things and situations and they take life for granted, and are also maybe having a little bit trouble with happiness, feeling happy and tranquil because of this. So they feel like you are judging them, and you seem to judge them. Judgment in reverse, it's not harsh, but it's I have seen you and I don't like it. So it's kind of that. So you seem to be on the same page. Both people here in this equation is understanding exactly what's going on. And it doesn't mean that this person can do anything about it. You can't just change your feelings. If you're taking something for granted, you're taking it for granted. What to do? You might have to live a lot of lives where you lose a lot of stuff before you can stop taking things for granted. So it's not an easy thing. It's very hard to go against one's own emotions, and we can't skip steps in this school of life. So if this person is in a situation where everything that has led up till now is making them take things for granted. Maybe they have been spoiled in a lot of lives, living high state lives, or people have nurtured them in different ways. Maybe they have been rich people when they have incarnated, and having special things being done for them. They have been treated very special. So everything is set, the stage is set for them to come down and take things for granted. And this might be the life where they lose it all, so that they will learn to not take things for granted. But they couldn't learn this before. They had to first anchor themselves in life enough to want to even stay here. Because if you put a new soul onto earth and you put it in this shitty situation immediately, they're usually not going to want to stay, and they will wither away and die. So they can't learn anything because they have no hope. So they just identify the world as a stupid place where they don't want to be. So when new souls incarnate, they usually have a little bit more easier lives, and that will change gradually. So when you see a person that has really hard life, it doesn't mean that they are not elevated or like they haven't worked themselves through. They might be on the end of their journey, just learning these final things, and it can be really hard. And this person is, I think, about to descend into this more hard kind of lives, and it's a elevation of the grade which they are in school. Okay, so they are more advanced schooling right now. Okay, and here is the energy between you, and it's a 9 of Swords. So no one wants to hold. It's I don't know the game in English, but it's a game where you play and you don't. It's a cards game, and you don't want to hold. In Swedish, it's the black Peter. You don't want to hold the black Peter, because then you're done. You are the one that's you lose basically. So and in relationship, no one wants to hold this black Peter. We don't want that card. We don't want to be the one that's in love while the other person isn't, or the one that wants to keep our job when our boss wants to lay us off. So with the 9 of Swords, we're trying to not be affected by this situation. It's affecting us greatly. We are feeling like we're dying, or we might have come exactly to the wound where we usually feel like dying. Sometimes if we have been many lifetimes in a certain situation, it's easier for us to take these kind of downfalls, so we're not as affected, acting more cool. But what I'm feeling here is almost like a cover-up. We are feeling like we're going to die, and we're trying to act like we're not. No, these swords are not going to penetrate me in the night, and I won't feel the pain. But I'm also thinking from Cancer's point of view that you don't want to engage in a situation that gives you pain, and to engage in a situation with a person that takes you for granted will guaranteed give you pain. So this is avoidance of pain basically. So the energy of this relationship, I will avoid pain. And this is your feelings towards them, and it's the Alchemist card, and it was much expected. It's a card about balance and compromises, and we have already seen signs of you being this high priestess. She's a very watery energy with the moon here, being ruled by the moon, and we can see also moons here in her horns. So she's kind of Pisces, Cancer energy, maybe Scorpio as well, but Scorpio is more death card, and transformation, right? Retransformation. This person is already transformed. And here we have this Sagittarius energy. So it's about the scientist, the curious soul that goes down on earth and really wants to deal with their mission, really wants to succeed with what they were supposed to come down here and learn. So they're a very eager student. It's a person that's ready to throw themselves into really difficult situations and sort them out, because they know that it will be a great reward for their soul. Not so that we will heighten ourselves and become like ascended masters or something like that. It's not like that at all. It's about for the whole existence to watch oneself in the mirror and find oneself. So we are here on the mission of like everything that's alive and like the divine pioneers to find out what is all this about. And here you're being kind of a good scientist. And the Sagittarius energy is also about attraction. So you might feel a lot of attraction towards this people that gives you pain, but also situations in general that gives you pain. So you're always finding yourself choosing maybe to put a lot of energy into the painful situation instead of the situation that don't give you pain, because you know with your soul that the situation that gives you pain is going to be the one that's giving you the best lessons as well. But remember what I said earlier, try to turn more towards the situation that don't give you pain, that actually gives you joy. And it's not about being shallow, it's about taking the people and the things in your life, the people, the career that you got, animals around you, the spirits around you, not taking them for granted, and actually giving more back to these energies that deserving of it, instead of always being so focused on your spiritual growth through pain. So we can feel like we are pain addicts. Why do I want this person now that don't want me anymore? So before they wanted me and I didn't want them, and now they want me but I don't want so they don't want me and I want them. I don't know how I said that, but the table has turned anyway. So suddenly something is unavailable for us and we want it. And it's because your soul kind of know, here's the struggle, here's the fight that's going to teach you anything. But I think you might learn best for now is to learn about gratefulness and being more grateful for what you have, instead of putting so much energy into situations that will never lead to anything substantial anyway, or any long-term value. So you seem to be very willing to put in the fight. Remember, that's usually the divine feminine on this side, divine masculine on this side, and a feminine person that's very stubborn. They don't want to show vulnerability. They will be on this side more often and the other way around. So you need to recognize yourself here. And this is their feelings towards you. So it seems like you're very attracted to this situation. And here we have a 5 of coins. So it's no surprise, really. I got a little bit surprised first, but it's no surprise. The person that is always taking other people for granted and putting themselves on an elevated position is kind of a person that's insecure. It's a person that doesn't feel like they are valuable. They don't feel like they deserve, really deep down they feel like they don't deserve. So they need the world always to prove that they deserve, that they are worthy of love. So they are putting themselves always in this elevated positions. They always need people around them to praise them, to say how good they are, how great they are. They need to have successes all the time, be able to win or to succeed, and have proof on the outside that they are worthy. And deep down inside, they don't feel worthy enough. So it's almost like you are in a situation with a person where there's it's a destiny playing out. Here is the thing you signed up for, the thing that you were supposed to learn. And we have a lot of major arcana card here showing that one person in this equation is doing their work. And another person is dealing with their issues of not being a soul that has been through hell and back, okay? So they're just dealing with this, still being like children, even if they are in a grown person's body. So they haven't gone the full lap to kind of first be elevated and then fall into disgrace and have to go through this and learn that we are valuable anyway. Even if the world turns away from us, we still have the same value as we had before they turned away from us. Nothing has changed with your soul. Your soul is eternal, beautiful, and it's a spark of God. So what can be wrong? Okay, it's nothing wrong with your soul. You are perfect in the way you are. But we are on this journey to learn more about ourselves and to kind of bring home this new knowledge to the divine as a collective. So we have gone through this posh state where we were elevated and down in the dirt, and eventually we'll come to a state of equilibrium where we have a lot of wisdom and we have a lot of things to share to other people. We have been through everything, so we have kind of the answer to most of the situation. Not always. We can be kind of wounded at this stage. We have been through hell and back, so we might feel the consequences of that, being kind of traumatized, but we have a lot of knowledge. We have this book of wisdom here, and this person is kind of on this stage where they have been elevated and now they are going to have to fall down. So they haven't really come to this place here where they realize that I'm valuable regardless of what the world is mirroring back to me. I realize now that I count. I'm allowed to be here. I have my place. I'm allowed to breathe. I'm allowed to take this breath in and feel the air in my lungs. I'm entitled. I'm one of God's children. So this person has an empty shell of a self-esteem. It's just what can be shown back to them, what can be reflected back to them. Yeah, you're great. It always needs this confirmation that you are great. So this is not a really mature person that can, if they are not getting exact ingredients, kind of being showered with love or really taken in like a baby being taken towards their mother's chest. If that's not happening, this person is not going to want to be in this equation because they need this constant pampering, constant fixation that you are great, I want you, I need you, I love you. Don't leave me. So, and you might not be that desperate kind, so you might act a little bit more elevated and more balanced. So when this person can't, for example, trigger you or make you miss them or cry when they are doing stupid things, they will not get out like this out of the relationship what they need this constant confirmation. So they might do stupid things like schedule meetings with you and not show up to see if you would care. Will they get this confirmation that they are valuable? And it seems like maybe you didn't want to play that game and you wanted to be more in a more elevated state. You wanted to find maybe a like-minded person that were on this same level, and that didn't work out because this person thinks that, oh, this relationship didn't give me anything. I didn't feel like a hero here. I didn't feel like the center of the universe. I didn't feel like this person would sacrifice their life for me. Well, maybe you would have, but it would have been an equal relationship, an equal give and take. It's kind of interesting with the wings here, kind of mirroring each other. So remember, on a spiritual state, we're kind of all alike. There can be souls that have been through more and souls that have been through lesser things and maybe stayed in a divine stage for a very long time. But usually that's because they've already elevated before, but there comes news all the time and we need to go down to keep ourselves updated with this new energy. We can see in for example, the moral of Old Testament Bible or parts of the Quran, that people weren't really of the same moral standard as today. Okay, we can see still that there's people still having death penalty and things like this. We'll stone this person to death, but most people in most countries realize we can't kill a person because that's adding to our karma. So we don't do that anymore. We have elevated ourselves from this old way of how things were, like an eye for an eye. It's not happening anymore. It's more turning the other cheek because we have become grander people. We don't get frustrated in our ego when someone smacks us around. We are more like, okay, so that person has a problem. We're not taking it to heart. While Old Testament or old like parts of Islam is talking about this. You need to give back. You need to show them. You need to fight them down because they were disrespecting you. So they were threatening your ego, and you need to show them that that's not all right. But when you don't have really ego anymore because you have been to the valley of death and came out of it, you are able to turn the other cheek. So through the eons, we are evolving as souls as well. But I would want to say that on a spiritual level, because I'm seeing this mirroring, so that's why I thought about this, that on a spiritual level, you're probably more alike, okay? But going down in a certain body, it might be a very elevated soul that have lived a lot of lifetimes, but now they're going down in an ancestral lines of people that have been elevated or has been not faced with this valley of death kind of walk. So this elevated soul are there to do the journey for the people in this ancestral line that couldn't do this journey. So they are here to make it happen. And so you might be kindred spirits in a kind of another dimension. When you die, you will not feel like you are this difference in your elevation or your what you have been taught or the life you have lived. But sometimes we go down in really dense energies, like in bodies, because we need to go down into those ancestral lines to heighten the whole of humanity. So don't judge this person's soul, okay? Judge their behavior, but not their soul, because you know nothing about that, what's really has been going on and what they have sacrificed, okay? So this is your behaviors and attitudes, and yeah, we have the tower here. So together with divine intervention, you're probably giving this person consequences for how they are taking you for granted, or you're not giving them the rewards. They are not getting this out of you. It might be also like you can see this as a total different situation where you are with a person that's very needy, okay, and they're very jealous and needy, and they need stuff from you and confirmation all the time, and they are not getting it. So that's also this kind of ego thing where we always need to have this confirmation, and we can have these traits inside of ourselves as well. So look at that as well. How can you deal with situations where life are not giving you exactly what you expected? So try to be more like, I don't mind what happens. I realize I'm here for greater reasons that I can comprehend. And I can't know the reasons to why things are happening in the way they do. I just go with the flow. I don't mind what happens. I accept. I follow the flow of my emotion. If I have a loss, I cry. If I'm having a win, I laugh. But either there comes a win or a loss, I don't mind which one it is, because we need to have the wave. We need to have the full experience. So it's only major arcana card here on this divine feminine side of Cancer, and it's showing that you can really go through hard stuff right now and keep yourself in equilibrium. You can go through the tower and still keep yourself sane, okay? Keep yourself, and you're giving this consequences of the tower kind of with divine right. Sometimes we can just feel I'm so over it, and you just don't engage in these situations with babying these people anymore, and you know, showing them you are loved, stay secure, don't get overwhelmed, don't get all self-destructive now. Don't become like that. So sometimes it's our mission to kind of go and save people from themselves. But at this stage, I'm thinking it's more tough love going on here. So this is on what's their behaviors and attitudes, and they are just trying to ignore the situation. But you remember that this is not going to be entirely possible, because we saw the Four of Swords in the reverse. So they might act like they don't care about your consequences right now, but in the end, they are going to feel the consequences, and they are going to learn from this. It doesn't mean that you have a future though. Because it seems like you have been breaking up, or you ended this because it was your your soul mission, or you just, let them end it, because the tower is on your side. So it seems like maybe they did a tower on you and you did a tower on them. It can be like this. But with the Four of Swords in reverse, they're going to have consequences in their life, but you might not be the one reaping the harvest out of that. It's their own soul, and humanity in general might reap the harvest out of that when finally the penny drops and this person realizes that they are worthy of love. There's nothing wrong with them. They don't have to have this constant confirmation from the world that they are great. They find greatness within themselves because of the action that they do. When they become brave, when they don't have to sit on their high horse, they can go down and step down and turn the other cheek and help someone that might have been their enemy before. So things like this. So this person will evolve. So your work wasn't in vain, but you might not reap the consequences of this person's change, because the Four of Swords is here in the upright position, showing that in Leo season at least, this person's action will be ignoring the situation and trying to still stay elevated. So they are not changing their survival skill here, or their survival method. That's how they have done things for a very long time. Like they're giving themselves to situations that give this mirroring back, that confirms that they are worthy. So it's almost a little bit narcissistic. They have this narcissistic injury and needs constant confirmation from both what they are telling about themselves and what the world is telling about them. And if they are not getting this supply, they will totally ignore the situation and pretend like it never happened, and maybe make another story about it. Yeah, I broke it up. So this person is not in a place where you would like them to be, and they are not able to wrap their mind around what they need to learn, okay? And this is the outcome. So it's the Hangman in the reversed, and that's kind of a good sign, but I'm thinking it's for you, since you have got, when they are describing you, it's a major arcana card upright. When you are describing them, that's a major arcana reversed, saying that you judge their judgment. You don't think that they're making the right decision. But then there's upright here, these major arcana cards. So I'm thinking it's actually you being released from this situation as of now. So if you don't want to stay in hell, you can actually go on this right now and release yourself from this situation. You don't have to make a story like, if this would just have been like this, if this person only could see my worth, if they could only do this, or if you can let things like this go and ride on the slide of I don't mind what happens, you can be karmically released from this situation as of now. But it's your choice. If you want to go down and dig in the dirt still, it might be your soul's choice. You still want to help people like this. And it's kind of great, because we need to give people, the nice things first before we put them through the tough love. So in a beginning of a relationship, we might have been forced, or we can be forced to be the bigger person for a long period of time. And if we feel like that, I want to continue. I want to try to make this person love me and see what a great person I am. I want to turn them around. If you feel very obsessed with that, and that you want this person to evolve in that kind of way, maybe that's your mission, okay? Maybe that's what you're supposed to do. But I'm saying to you, Cancer, that you are allowed to step out of this right now and elevate just yourself. Because there's a very precarious moment in time right now when there's like a split. You might feel it sometimes like it's two dimensions. You did one thing in one dimension, but there's another result in the other dimension. So you might feel like you're losing your mind. So this is what's going on, where the earth is almost ripping apart. And certain people that have done certain work will end up on one earth, and the other people that have certain other work to do will end up on another earth, or the old earth. And it's very sad to have to split from a person that you have maybe worked with from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. And if people die as of now, it might be because it's kind of a mercy, because they don't need to make this choice. They will be elevated, and they can make a choice later on which kind of earth they want to incarnate on. But as I feel it, certain people will continue incarnate on the old earth and you know, do another lap. They need to go kindergarten again. And other people will incarnate on another earth. So it's just a natural split, and it's just a natural consequence. And it might be sad, but you have a decision to make, which earth you are going to be on. Are you going to stay here trying to help them with their mess? Or are you going to move on to other experiences? Because maybe you don't need to experience kindergarten again and again and again and again. So how to do this? It's about elevating yourself, staying in gratefulness, focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want, focusing about the great things in life, what you have been able to achieve, instead of constantly obsessing about your failures. So it's kind of easy. Meditate a lot. Try to stay as little in your mind as possible and as much as in your body as possible. Mindful, aware, having this great judgment, being able to see your body from above and feel, instead of just being in the experience. Oh, I'm feeling so strange and I don't know what's happening. I want to crawl out of my own skin. That's the frog perspective. To see from an above perspective, oh, interesting. So this anxiety is going on in my body. I bet I'm going through some kind of healing right now. That's two very different points of views. So I'm not saying rip yourself apart from your body. I'm saying getting in tune with it, start to understand it. Don't put your body there like this is something. It's getting headaches and a lot of other stupid things. I don't want to know about it. So you're keeping yourself ignorant and in the state of kind of sweeping things underneath the carpet. But when you're, okay, so I'm feeling like I'm going to die today. Interesting. That's a better approach. Okay, that's showing that you're courageous enough to face whatever happens. And remember, don't mind what happens. We can go back and forth if we have like a loss, for example, with not accepting and accepting, not accepting and accepting. It's fine. You're allowed to have this, you know, the time of mourning and the 5 stages of mourning. So we don't want to just ignore what we are feeling. So, but go through all these kind of things mindfully. So I don't accept that I lost this person, but in fact I lost them. So that's the fact. So I don't mind what happens. It has happened already. I can't do anything about it right now. And if you can do something about it, you try that. And if that doesn't work, you don't mind what happens. It's what it is. So it's about being able to accept. Acceptance is giving you liberation and freedom. So, long reading. Interesting. So I'm going to take a card for this person's problems here with the 5 of Pentacles and the 4 of Swords. So we have movement. So I'm getting this with the split earth, but I'm also getting like hope and there's hope for these persons too. Even if they end up on this old earth and not being able to be elevated, they're still doing a great job, okay? And they're still a thorough job, and there's a lot of hope and a lot of beautiful things. So I'm actually going to have to put in the battery cord. I expected it to be a short reading, so okay. Fighting windmills. You are in a time of positive forward motion. So, you know, there's hope for this person too. This is the time for positive momentum as you come out of a period of restriction. You're in a stage of new adventure and discovery. You may feel compelled to take a trip, change your hair, or move your home or business. Regardless, you can't remain where you are anymore. You feel compelled to go forward. No matter what your inquiry, you will see your dreams take form and doors previously shut begin to open as if by magic. Movement is also a state of mind. The fog lifts and you know now the actions you need to take. this isn't a time for fear. Let it go and move forward. So kind of advice for this person that they feel a little bit fog in their life. And if it would have come in reverse, I'm not doing reversals in this. Do you feel as if you are walking in circles, seemingly not going anywhere? Consider the spiral that travels up and around. 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. Yeah, and it's this as well. I told you about the elevated state, dark night of the soul, and the more tranquil state where you are able to be, I don't mind what happens. This is going in spirals as well. So you will feel like, oh, I'm an ascended master, nothing can go wrong. And then dark night of the soul and this again. So it's not over until it's over. Even backward movement helps you progress and reach your goal. You may need to revisit some of the places where you forgot to look for treasure. Another message is a lesson needs repeating for those who refuse or are unable to learn them the first time. Consider this another invitation to become to mastery. Okay, so you see why reversals are so great. We're explaining exactly what was going on, but it's a fairly new deck. I haven't really messed around with it too much. So for you then, here we have Magic Stream, and it's 18. So I'll read this for you. And we can see some similarities with the grass, and there's a stork there, storch in English, I guess. And a mountain, and here's a moon, and there's the sun, and there's a rainbow here. Everything is connected through the universal flow of consciousness. So even if we feel very disconnected and we end up on different earths, we are still made of the same gravel that once exploded in the universe. So, or the same energy, same light. We will all return like drops back into the big ocean. Every experience you have seems to have its own life story with a beginning, a middle, and eventually an end. However, there is a danger in seeing events as separate from one another, since in fact they are all a part of continuity and a greater evolution. Like an ever-flowing magic stream, your experience filters through the whole world, one leading into another, informing and influencing still more. Inspiration, invention, and revelations rarely come to just one person. The collective awareness is a shared storehouse of potential. When you remember your part of the fluid continuity of life, you become a channel for great inspiration. Allow the magic to flow through you and carry your dreams into reality. Your success will benefit many. So it talks about your dream, the dream you have for your scientific journey here to explore this, maybe with love, for example, is going to benefit many. So don't lose hope just because it seems like seemingly life is not rewarding you. Maybe you feel like life is always giving you crumbs. But remember, the work that you do is crucial and important. And it's not insignificant. You are not insignificant. The work you do are not insignificant. And as I said before, you have the choice to believe in magic, okay? You have the choice to see life from another perspective. I bet you have certain areas of your life that works super. They works great. And you have other areas of your life that doesn't work so great. See if you can transform or transport that mindset that you have in the areas that do work, where you are confident and you believe in like everything will turn out all right. See if you can put this in that state where you're still wounded, where you still have doubts, where you still feel like this is never going to work out. Try to gradually and naturally transferred that mindset with this into this mindset here, into this area, so that you can be more calm, more cool, more hopeful, and more whatever happens is fine. I know things will turn out all right. So that will help you greatly through this situation. where you kind of are a divine tool, having to make great sacrifices with dreams that you might have because there's a greater dream. And, you know, it's your choice here how to move forward with this. Okay, so my dear Cancer, this was a super long reading, but I guess it was a lot of information coming through as well that can be helpful if you are in this conundrum. Okay, so I want to thank you so much for watching. I'm truly grateful. And if you like my content and wants to support my channel, you can do so not only by watching, but also liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing my videos. You can also donate to my channel through the link in the description box, or you can make Google Donate by clicking my ads or watch them for 30 seconds or to the end of the ad, whatever comes first. And this is keeping my humble revenue up so I can free up time to make more content for you on this channel. And I thank you so much in advance. I'm truly grateful for my wonderful, loving, and supporting viewers. And your amazing comments always make my day. And until next time, take really good care. Okay, bye-bye.